friends, it's Kate from Venison for dinner. Let's show you how we water all our gardens without any outdoor running water. Okay friends, it is a summer evening. Oh, you made your swing, good job bud.
His brother finished his math for the year.
Mac just finished his math for the school year, which is awesome. Hamish built a swing. The younger three are in bed and we are going to water the garden. Now I will admit, I'm only in charge of watering the big garden if Marius is away fishing or something. I water up at the house, he waters the big garden, but watering the big garden is kind of neat. We would show you how we do this. We are in northern BC, zone 3 gardening, and we don't have running water outside. So how, friends? What?
We're technically in West Central BC.
West Central BC. People call it northern BC.
No, we're not northern. It goes way further.
So how do we water such a large garden if we have no running water? So he's got two tools here. Oh, we're going to the top?
Over the top. This is useless unless it's attached to anything.
Okay, I was hoping you would show me what they were and explain them for me.
This is a Hansen. This is a Strangler.
What's a Hansen for?
This is
Your nozzle.
the end of the hose.
Yeah. So the attachments, what is this, a 1.5 or a 2-inch? 1.5 jacketed fire hose. And this connection is called the forestry. Like we call this a forestry.
I know it to be a Hansen.
No, like the notches.
I don't know. They just click on.
I think they're the forestry connections, is what the box said.
Yeah, that'd be what it is.
And we'll show you what this is for.
This is the best tool you can. If you have fire hose.
Well, we got way over here for it.
Well, you don't get to see this in action.
I used to think it was impossible to be lifted by a fire hose, but a powerful fire hose being gone off guard, I see how that could happen.
So it has been a dry summer. Marius has been watering the garden almost every night, and that is not normal. Normally we would be like every third day probably.
Normally by now we're cursing the rain, saying go away, it's too wet. At least in the last number of years. Can you guys move a little bit?
So with the fire hose, you do not want it to be bent. It needs to be straight. It will kink really easily. And if it kinks, pardon me?
It doesn't kink that easily.
Okay, but it has to be straight.
Kind of a straight line, yeah.
This is the connections I was talking about. So it has to be a fairly straight line, at least, you know, curved. If it kinks, that's really hard on the pump. You don't want, like on your standard, you know, you have a hose, your garden hose. You have a nozzle and it's fine if the tap is on, but the water is, you know, just stopped, it's not flowing. With this pump, you do not want water to be stopped, you want water to be flowing. Otherwise it's very hard on your impeller.
Almost there. Here.
Maybe. Okay, now we gotta climb through here, apparently. Hamish, do not climb over that. I'm just gonna move a tree off of your hose. Oh, hello, Piggly Wigglies. Okay, now we climb through another one. And because these are not destructive pigs, this wasn't even done up. Oh boy, I did not dress appropriately.
Yeah, you should wear jeans, my dear wife. You should wear jeans.
So we bought all this equipment in 2018. At that point, I think we spent $1,200. This year we did have to buy some new hose because we lost one. Do not ask us how we lost a hose, but we lost a hose. So the hoses always get drained, so it's disconnected here.
Lots of fuel.
Lots of fuel. It doesn't go through much fuel, does it?
More this year.
Okay.
We've been watering heavily up top, so.
So that green is the intake. It's 15 feet long, and at the end of it, it has a basket. And then, does it have netting over top of it?
No, it's just a wire.
Just a wire, like, basket. And then that jug is the float, so it keeps it off of the bottom of the pump, so off the pond, sorry. So this right here is called priming your pump. And priming is important because...
We just run air and blow up.
Okay. For your impeller, is it?
Yeah, the whole thing would just not draw water, it would just draw air and...
It's hard on the pump.
That would blow it up.
Okay. So this is a Kodiak pump, which is a Honda motor. We bought it locally. So to prime it, you're just filling it with water until the water overflows. You have to fill the entire intake, essentially. Oh, you've got some little tadpoles. You're going to fertilize the garden with them.
No, they bounced out. They usually do.
Quite a few tadpoles in there.
Yeah, lots of tadpoles.
Oh yeah, they do just bounce out of there.
Yep. Most of the weeds bounce out too. Just like picking
Takes
them
a
out.
lot of water.
Oh, it's probably full already.
Oh, yeah.
I just keep pouring.
Okay.
Till the bucket's gone.
You know, I think that was way more water than you needed. But you know it's done when they're, you know, the water level is right there, and then you fill it with the cap. Then you cover it with the cap, I should say.
And then you screw your cap on. It seals it on. It makes a sealed unit.
And then otherwise it's similar to starting any other engine. You got your throttle, your choke, pull cord, on off.
I'm going to be standing right there.
Throttle. What's that then?
That's
the impeller?
That's the choke.
That's the choke. What's
the
that one?
Impeller is completely, it does its own
That's the fuel supply on and
Yes.
off. Okay.
Yes. You're standing right.
Okay, I know.
Motor on. Fuel on. Choke on. Throttle on.
An important factor we left out there is that the Hansen is left open so that water is just running there at the top of the garden. If you want to see a full garden tour, I did one recently, a couple of videos, a few videos ago, and I'll do another one mid-July. Move out of the way, Hamish, you're gonna get hosed. So like any other garden nozzle, how you adjust it is how it goes. If we have small seedlings, he won't water close to them. He waters farther away with a mist. I would say this whole process takes him 45 minutes. Tops. He has all the hose laid out. It doesn't take as long, but when I'm going to show you where we water the cows, and then I'll show you up how I water the kitchen garden.
I can just about reach the whole garden, but I won't be able to.
So the wind is really messing with his ability to aim. We got a nice rainbow there. It's quite fun to water with a fire hose. I do enjoy it when I do. Our garden being on this bit of slope, Marius was away working and we needed to turn under soil in the fall so that next spring it would be good for, woo! That was really close to me getting hosed. Anyhow, Marius' dad came over and helped me pick this as our garden spot because of the exposure, because of the distance from the house, distance to where we knew we'd be watering, and also this slight hill has saved us on years when it's been really wet. Other people's gardens are flooding and our garden is doing fine. If this trend continues with a really hot summer, we may mulch the potatoes. Some years we mulch, some years we don't. Depends what the weather's looking like. One year we mulched and it was a really wet year and we lost a bunch of potatoes because they got too wet. We didn't have to water at all.
You should make special note that I can adjust my distance with this thing.
Yeah, so just like any other garden hose nozzle, you can twist it to make it a tighter or wider pattern. Tighter goes farther, obviously. Tighter you wouldn't want to do up close on young plants. That would really blast them. He does it really wide for up close. Like if he just pointed that at the ground right now, he blows dirt everywhere. You should blast Mac. You should blast Mac. It's really hard to hear you when you're talk quietly.
The hose going off by my head. It's really hard to hear you saying anything.
It's actually rather quiet.
Usually I can reach way further, but the wind, although the wind's gone now, so I'm gonna try.
I was trying to convince Dad to hose you when you're walking over here.
Yeah, this is more like it.
So he's quite far down. Let's show you how far.
Right on cue comes the wind. And it's gone.
Show you how far down he can get from the top. So if the wind dies, he can water to here. If it's windy, he can only water to about up there. You are a rascal! Can see you two smirking up there. So a big reason why he can water this way is, number one, we mostly only have tough plants up here, and anything that comes up from seed is acclimatized to being watered this way like a heavy rainstorm, so it's fine. All our delicate things are up at the house. So that is, whoa, he just about got you. Oh, no, that was so close. Oh, I was bracing, but he cranked that hose down. Oh, he's playing chicken with a hose. Well, you know what?
Just a bit of water.
Just a bit of water, it might ruin my camera.
You get a waterproof camera.
How does it feel to be done your math for the year?
Good.
Is it a relief?
I knew you were going to ask that question. I was like, she's going to say that when she turns around. Yeah, it's nice.
Is it because you're psychic or psycho?
Neither.
How does it feel that you finished before Hamish?
3 times better than if I finished at the same time.
Oh! That was...
It went past you.
Yeah, I know. It got my feet. He's just trying to. Yeah, I didn't really want to come closer when you were trying to hit me. Okay, so this is where the Strangler comes in. He needs to get the Hansen off the end. So the Strangler comes apart.
And strangles it.
Wish I got that on film, you bailing.
I didn't. I caught myself.
You missed him. He just about face planted behind you.
No, I saw him go flying behind me. I had no idea why.
I tripped on a stake.
Oh, you should have been watching and not running.
Oh, I was trying to get behind Mom so you didn't spray me.
I wasn't trying to spray you guys. If I wanted to spray you, I would have still posted you.
You were asking for that one, sir. So because we don't need to just stand and watch him water the whole garden, when he's done, he will leave it running, go and turn the pump off, and then disconnect the hose at the pump so that the hose all drains. If the hose is not all in a straight line downhill like this, he will disconnect at every connection to make sure that the hose drains properly. Okay, so now we're gonna show where we water the cows.
Troughs.
Yeah, well, how do we do that?
By putting the pump and the hose into the trough.
So when he needs to do the cows and the house water, which I'll show you, not the house water, the kitchen garden water,
The house wants from the pond.
he's got to take all the hoses, I'm gonna step over the electric fence, and reroute them. You got long legs, kid. This year, grass is in short supply with the lack of rain. There's a lack of pasture and hay, so we are especially making use of all the little extra bits for grazing goats and pigs. So the pond is just down through there. You can see a little wooden gate. So he routes the hoses up here, fills 3 troughs. These are each 100 gallons, maybe?
I thought you said like 550 liters.
No, this one's bigger. There's a lot. And then he routes it up here, and I'll show you there in a second. He also always fills this puddle because the chickens absolutely adore this puddle being filled with water. So this was a few days ago now and it's starting to dry up. But he makes this a huge big puddle here and the chickens love it. We also have this cube which is used to water goats and pigs. And then he runs the hoses up here to then fill my tank. If you like what you see, make sure you give it a thumbs up and you follow us so you don't miss any. I post a video every Wednesday morning. And there is a lot. If you're new here, there's a lot of videos that you can watch. Of course it's gonna get windy right when I wanna talk here, but let me show you the kitchen garden now. So we have this 650 gallon tank. It was up there. As you can see, that broke. Actually, it pile drove that fence post into the ground. We did not build that platform or put the tank there. It was there and we just kept it there. So, Marius reroutes the fire hoses up to, he does it where he waters the cows and does this in one go. Right now I'm having to water almost every day, and this only lasts me about a week of watering up here. So gravity feed when it was up there worked, but it was very slow. So I bought an inexpensive pump. Canadian, it was $75. It's a submersible pump that plugs in. So this is pond water, so it's not clear, but the pond water actually has all sorts of lovely algae and such that honestly I think our garden does amazing because of it. It's like micro-fertilized all the time. If I don't keep this end in, it siphons out. Anyhow, there's a float so it doesn't run with no water. That's what that orange thing's on the left. It didn't come with the right attachments. Marius had to get those from the hardware store. So we're gonna submerge it back down there. And then we put the lid back on. Oh, here, I gotta take it. Okay, how's this going? This comes back up this. There we go. The lid is on for safety. Small children and chickens. Right? Because that's a pretty small hole now. So, okay, Rooster, you're going to move out of the way, and we're not going to disagree about this. This Rooster is very good at making sure nothing gets to the chickens, but I am nervous of him, and he knows it. So you can hear the pump going, and here we go. I do have a sprinkler, but I don't like using it. With the sprinkler is you also water all the grass in the garden, and you use like twice as much water as you need. And with having to pump water, that's just kind of a waste of time and effort. Oh, dogs. Oh, I kinked my hose somewhere. Now we get to follow it back and figure out what we did wrong. Oh, my hose was wrapped around the power cord. Back to over here, I have these sticks are elderberries. Hey, that one's actually growing. Yay! I can't forget to water them because I do forget to water them because they're literally just sticks in the ground. There's landscape cloth underneath you here. I usually just kind of count to 5-ish. Oh, this one's growing too. Look at that. Oh, this one's got growth too. I planted last year and none of them grew. That was definitely a user error. I don't water the garlic every time I water the garden. This mulch really helps it. Last year, we didn't have a pump for the tank. My pump had broken and I was lazy and I used the house water, which is, yes, our cistern water that we pay for, but hello, I was being lazy and making myself cost more money. Not myself, but you know what I mean. I also think my kitchen garden didn't do as well because that water's chlorinated. Like, it was just a stupid move all around, but sometimes you're just like in a headspace of survival mode and it is what it is.